Welcome to Death on Clare Island, Chapter 21B. Nolan's residence was a colonial-style structure with a bow window facing onto a spherical cul-de-sac. Several ancient chestnut trees formed a ring around a fountain in the middle of the circular turnaround. Gaslight lamps stood guard, lining the brick-paved driveways in the enclave of luxury homes. Heading up a charitable foundation must have its rewards, I thought. That's when I noticed two suitcases squatted in the driveway next to a Mercedes. It appeared as though I'd arrived just in time. Nolan answered the door. Then, as he tried to close it in my face, he said, "I have no intention of talking to you today or ever." "Do the police know about your trip?" I said, nodding toward the luggage. "They have nothing to do with this," he shouted, then slammed the door so hard that it didn't catch but flew open instead. Since his back was turned to me as he walked away, I followed him down a narrow hallway into a brightly lit living room. I glanced around and saw no weapons, which was good. The furniture was covered with dust cloths, which told me he was planning an extended trip. Maybe he wasn't coming back at all. If that was the case, then this was my last chance to crack his shell. He held himself erect, holding onto the right side of the fireplace's mahogany hearth. His face registered surprise when he finally noticed me. "What the—" "The door was open," I said. "So I assume you heard about Sharon." "Yes, I have. I'm sorry she died. If only she'd listened to me, she—" Then he stopped in mid-sentence when he realized his slip. "Thank you, guardian angel," I whispered to myself. "This is exactly what I hoped would happen." "You're sorry? That's all you have to say? The woman is dead and you're sorry? Don't you think you owe it to her to tell me what's going on? What did you tell her?" Nolan flopped down into a chair, clutched his head in his hands, and rocked forward and backward. "I told her to get the hell away from Matthew. He was the source of her unhappiness. I'm sure of it. Going off all the time, a loner, painting those pictures, flirting with young girls who were influenced by his poor, struggling artist act." His emotional outbreak, I had to admit, surprised me. "Were you in love with her?" I asked. But I didn't need to hear his answer. The slump of his body in the chair and his purposeless agitation told their story. "Yes, yes," he shouted, pounding his head with his fists. "God damn her. God damn me. Yes, I've been in love with her for years. We were always together, the three of us, Sharon, Matthew, and myself. We used to joke about being the Three Musketeers. By the time I realized my feelings for her, she'd hooked up with Matthew." "Didn't she know? Didn't you tell her how you felt? Did you even try?" Anger and empathy surged through me. I let the anger take control. He'd allowed jealousy to eat away at him, and for that, Sharon was dead. "No," I hid it. "I hoped she'd tire of Matthew, and then I'd be there to pick up the pieces." Nolan sneered and laughed as if at himself for some bizarre joke. "I should have known that there's no kindness in this world. Time and again, I've had the life beaten out of me by fate." As I listened to his words, a rush of emotions came to the surface. I let my anger toward him go at that moment, although a part of me didn't want to. I understood his losses, his dream of being a doctor, his sister, and now Sharon. I've battled fate since I was 6 years old, but unlike Nolan, I wouldn't let it defeat me. Independence was my armor, information my weapon. The flow of words ceased as he stared at the dark, cold fireplace. Immobile now, his rocking and head pounding ceased. "What did you warn Sharon about?" I asked. He looked up at me and then shrugged. "I guess it doesn't matter now. She came to me for help." What kind of help? Before Matthew died or after? She had a drug habit. That wasn't exactly news to me, or anyone else for that matter, since every paper in town provided that information. What kind of help? I asked again. Did she want help quitting? Is that what she talked to you about? I had to keep him talking. He looked like he was in a catatonic stupor. She wanted Matthew off her back. He suspected her habit, but she never admitted it to him. Can you believe that? She was supposed to be in love with him, but she confided in me. How ironic. She asked me to convince him that she didn't have a habit. She promised she'd quit if I'd buy her some time. She didn't want him asking questions and watching her every move. Did you agree to help her? Of course. I had to be careful, though. I didn't want Matthew to know she'd told me her secret. Then I saw him with Sky, and I became suspicious of both of them. I didn't know what to believe. Maybe Matthew was supplying Sharon. Maybe Sky was. What if she'd lied to me about why she wanted Matthew off her back? Everything became very confusing. Then he died. How did Sharon act then? Worse. I tried to see her, call her. She refused me. I just wanted to help her. I loved her. And what about when I saw the two of you arguing on the street? What was that about? More of the same. She looked terrible. I asked her to let me get her into rehab. She blew up and told me to mind my own business. And then you happened along. He gave me an accusatory glare, but I've had a million of those aimed at me and was impervious. What do you think now? Do you still suspect Sky? I don't know what to think anymore, and to tell you the truth, I just don't care. But if I were you, I'd pack my bags and get off this godforsaken island before you end up like Sharon. Now, you'll have to excuse me. I'm leaving. He got up quickly and escaped the room. I followed him back out into the hallway. Where are you going? Away. The publicity about Matthew and Sharon is hurting the foundation. He turned back to me and added, I've told the board of directors that I'm taking a leave of absence. I studied his face carefully. The fine lines surrounding his eyes and lips were etched deep into his skin. He was paler and grayer than when I'd first met him. He looked tired and defeated, like he'd fought an unseen enemy for a long time and was now resigned to his fate as a loser. I nodded without another word and walked out. I didn't think I'd ever see Raymond Nolan again.